Peter's on the guitar this morning, everybody.
All right, you folks, calm down a little bit. Let's take our seats. We want a peaceful and orderly celebration today, one filled with joy and energy. Come on in. All right, hello, Camille. Well, they're coming in the doors. That's wonderful.
Good morning, Cheryl. Is there a flyer for No, I sent you. I resent. That's a. Oh, well, I sent you one to do because I wasn't going to advertise the other one yet because I hadn't figured out my points. Oh, okay. All right. I just need to remember what I was doing. It was the point this morning.
Okay. Welcome to Woodland Chapel, Center for Spiritual Living. It's wonderful to have so many active, lovely people here this morning. We're happy to have you all. And we are all part of the same community because we make up this community. There are a few announcements this morning. Is anyone joining us for the first time? No, we're all family. Good. Please join us for our soup fundraiser, Soup for the Soul. And as you know, the price tag is $3 or as much as you'd like to give. Our new workshop begins next Sunday, an exploration of the main holidays of Christianity. Part 1 in the Nativity in January 26th, and Part 2 will be...
Well, let me just say a little bit about that.
Why don't you do that? Since you're going to give it.
We don't actually have a flyer on that, but if we have your your email, you'll get a weekly a reminder. So I have always been absolutely enthralled with biblical studies. I'm not a scholar and not an expert, but that's why I put facilitator instead of teacher. But so the Nativity, I thought I would do the Nativity and Easter, the birth and the crucifixion. So, and there's a lot of gossip about Mary, you guys. There is seriously a lot of gossip if you read the Gospels. And so, and it's not that anybody in our teaching wants to gossip. I get that. But it's interesting. And it's interesting and it's part of our culture. And so what are we really talking about and what does the stories really tell us? So it's fun and you're invited next week after the service, about an hour and a half, and we will talk about this and gossip a little. So, yeah.
That should be a fun time. I think I'd like to do that. All right. There's something else of interest. It's quite a ways away, October 25th, Capital Pride Day. We're doing a monthly craft day to support and get ready for that. The next craft day is scheduled for February the 8th from 11:30 to 3 here in the chapel. So if you'd like to come and make things to hand out at the craft day from Woodland Chapel, you could certainly help, do that. It'll be really fun. Sign-up sheet for events are in the library. Confidential requests for prayer are in the box in the box in the front of the pew, and you can put them in the library if you like, or in the offertory. Membership renewal forms are on the table in the library. That would be good to fill out if you haven't already filled one and mailed one out. Should have received one. There is childcare available during the service. Science of Mind magazines are also available. Anything else that we might need to announce this morning? No, it sounds good. Okay, let's go on with the program. And at this point, we'll do a congregational song. And I should introduce our singer, player, and musician, Peter.
Hello.
Hi, Peter.
Hi. Rev.
Hey, he's going to lead us in a song, and the song is in your program.
Yeah, the song is in the program. There should be an extra sheet in the middle there, and the song will be singing A Song of the Soul by Chris Williamson. Oh, love of my life, I am crying. I am not dying. I am dancing, dancing along in the madness. There is no sadness, only the song of the soul, and we'll sing this song. Why don't we sing along? And can we sing for a long, long time? Oh, why don't we sing this song? Why don't we sing along? And we can sing for a long, long time. Oh, what do you do for a living? Are you forgiving, giving shelter? Follow your heart, love will find you, truth will unbind you. Seek out the song of the soul, and we'll sing this song. Why don't you sing along? And we can sing for a long, long time. Oh, why don't you sing this song? Why don't you sing along? And we can sing for a long, long time. And we can sing for a long, long time. Thank y'all.
And now we'll settle our minds and hearts with a song that's scheduled to introduce our prayer.
The song is also in your handout if you want to sing along. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Everything I've ever done, everything I've ever seen, everything I've ever been won, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to this present moment, here to a new beginning, here, and I'm seeing life so clearly now. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul.
Get ready, my soul. I invite you to turn within and allow yourself to feel that deepest part of yourself, that part of yourself that lives and breathes and has its very being through the power and the presence of God. I invite you to release anything that has brought you here with distraction or concern, anything that is not pleasing to your soul. It's a truth, but it need not distract you this moment. I invite you to know the peace and joy that is available to you here. I absolutely know that this service unfolds with beauty and joy, with love and creativity, and the authentic self that we each yearn to be. I know that the music and the prayers and the message resonate to each individual as it is needed, as each person takes with them what they need to go through their week and holds it dear in their heart. I'm grateful for this power that moves through me right now, that moves through you right now, that knows the truth of our very being, our power, and the possibility that is available to each of us. And with gratitude, I release this word into the law, knowing it is done as spoken, and through grace, so much more. And please join me in saying, and so it is. Now we have an affirmation, perhaps the first of many today. It's in your program. Please join me in saying, when I move beyond my doubt and fear, I can release perceived limitations. This frees me to achieve my true purpose, and I can open doors to a new way of life, and so it is.
Good morning. Our reading today is from the Science of Mind magazine, the daily guide for January 13. It's entitled Healing from the Inside Out. Now, if I were to write this title, I would say healing is an inside job. Our first quote to ponder comes from Father Richard Rohr, a Franciscan friar and ecumenical teacher. He founded the Center for Action and Contemplation in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Only those who have tried to breathe underwater know how important breathing really is, and will never take it for granted again. They are the ones who do not take a shipwreck or drowning very lightly. And from Ernest Holmes' Creative Ideas, page 59, we have this short and sweet bit of wisdom. Something in me knows what to do. I joyfully accept its guidance. And our message. Most of us have aspects of our lives we don't like. Perhaps we feel lonely and wish we have quality relationships. We might struggle to have enough money, or we may lack purpose and passion. We may act to change things, but become frustrated when we return to the same spot. Our actions do not take us anywhere different. Why is this? Because we focus on our outer world rather than our inner world. Yes, it's important to acknowledge parts of your life you wish to live differently. To experience different outcomes requires you to change the cause, which is an inner job. This quest to understand cause brought my spiritual journey to me head on. In our teaching, we offer a standing invitation to explore the law of cause and effect. And while many of us understand the concept intellectually, we often fail to put it to use in our daily struggles. Seeing our true beliefs by ourselves can present a challenge, which is why our spiritual journey can benefit from being in community. This could mean taking classes and participating in groups with like-minded people. Therapy is another option that allows us to be with another to reflect on what we struggle to see. The best way to see what is cause and effect is in your life is to start with your problem and continue asking why. Back into it until you can identify a quality of God you don't feel like you are one with. Love, power, beauty, joy, peace, life, and wisdom. The cause of our disconnect with Source is the reason for any effect in our life. And an affirmation to close with. I am open and honest with myself. I choose to heal fully and wholly and recognize where I do not feel wholeness. Thank you.
It is our tradition to have an introductory song for the message, and Peter will do that now.
I apologize. I'm going to get a slight delay here. Okay, thanks for having me here today. I am here in my wife Ari's place. She would have been here normally, but is home with a sick child today, so I am here for her. And were there squares that were bet, or was there a pool involved, or anyway? So, yeah. So I'm going to do a song that Ari wrote, that her and I wrote together, and it's called "Be Curious." I saw the clouds changing as they floated along. It made me curious, And I listened to the birds singing out their favorite songs, 'cause I was curious, going deep to find I don't see. I'll keep an open mind to get to know myself a little better over time. Follow the passing train in my sight, 'cause I was curious, what travels in those cars through day and night. Do you feel curious? Do you feel curious? I'm going deep to find places I don't see. I'll keep an open mind to get to know myself a little better over time. Oh. Oh, the only way to grow is to root. The only way up is to climb. And the only way out is by going inside. So be curious, stay curious, be curious, be curious, be curious, be curious.
Oh, thank you, Peter. Oh my gosh, we're so glad you're here, and I hope baby Phoebe is doing well today. Yeah, glad you could fill in. Really glad you could fill in, and always enjoy you. So, on the affirmation today, as I was listening to that, the affirmation and something Shannon said in the reading, I just want to read the affirmation again, and maybe I can just let that go and be my talk, because it just says it so succinctly. When I move beyond my doubt and fear, I can release perceived limitations. This frees me to achieve my true purpose, and I can open doors to a new way of life. I mean, that's it. And the thing about affirmations is we're not trying to make something happen with an affirmation. We say affirmations are truth statements that we remind ourselves of. And I think that one is fantastic. Cut it out and put it on your mirror. And then in the reading of Shannon's, there was a sentence, something in me knows what to do. Isn't that just comforting? And it is so true. Something in us always knows what to do. Oh, thank you. And good morning. And I want to say good morning to the folks that are watching us online. I would wish you were here so we could give you hugs, but we are so grateful that your presence is with us too. And I know that because there's a way to check. So I don't usually do that, but I was looking for something the other day, and it was like, wow, that is really cool. So welcome, everyone. So what we're exploring this month is really the basics of science of mind, which is the teaching of centers of spiritual living. And it is traditional the first 4 weeks. And I really like that tradition to remind us of the very basics. And why is that important? Because these core principles of science of mind, of new thought, can change our lives. And those of us who've been working with them for a long time know that to be true. And because a lot of you know me, I have to qualify that and say sometimes it is a process. It's not just an overnight thing. I want you to know. So if, we're all somewhere in the process. And they also help us to live the life that we want to live. And to help us not only survive, but to thrive. When we apply these principles, and I'm with a lot of you, it is so much fun to know things, and a lot less fun to do them. But, we just keep on keeping on. So today we're talking about choosing possibilities. It's always kind of been important to me to know why. Why is this true? Why does something happen? So bear with me a minute because I want to lay the foundations of why. And why more possibilities exist for us than we really, really know. Than we can really imagine. And it means understanding our true nature, which contains, in this infinite universe, all exists already. I mean, like cell phones existed when people were just discovering fire. I mean, it didn't suddenly, God didn't suddenly say, oh, I have a new idea. I think I'll create cell phones. All this possibility always existed. Always existed. And it's for us to get into that place where we can express it and understand it. So it's it is so cool. So who knows what possibilities there exist now? And if it's true for each one of us as we tap into that field. And on the first Sunday, Reverend Moore talked about the thing itself. And I love that Ernest Holmes calls it the thing itself, because if anybody has a charge on the word God, which we use, but, that kind of takes the charge off of it and puts it into an infinite, maybe unknowingness. I mean, we can experience it, but our finite man can't really get it around it, our mind around it. There's a lot of gods, and that's okay. We need gods. We need, human beings created gods. Gods are our creation, right? All of it. And trying to make sense of things. And living on planet Earth, God knows we do need help a lot of times. So, and if we don't understand this, we might have a wrong conception, and it might lead us into fear, like these two little boys I'm going to tell you about, who were excessively mischievous. They were always getting into trouble. Any of you relate to that? And their parents knew that if any mischief occurred in town, they were probably involved in it. So the boy's mother heard about a minister who could really work with children and had been successful in disciplining. So she thought, I think I'll speak to this minister about these boys. And so the minister agreed to meet with the boys. But he wanted to do this one at a time. And so the youngest one, which I think was about 8, he met with them in the morning, and he would meet with the older boy in the afternoon. And the minister was this big guy, and he had this booming voice. And he sat with the younger boy, and he sat down and asked him sternly, "Where is God?" And the boy's mouth dropped open, but he made no response, sitting there with his mouth hanging open and wide-eyed. I mean, I don't know if you ever as a child were confronted with a big authority figure. You can imagine how he felt. So the minister repeated the question a little bit louder, "Where is God?" And the child just sat there not answering, and so the minister raised his voice anymore, and he says, "Where is God?" And the little boy screamed, and bolted from the room and ran home and hid himself in a closet. And when his older brother found him in the closet, he asked him what happened, and the younger brother, gasping for breath, replied, "We're in big trouble this time. God is missing, and they think we did it." So, not understanding who God really is can make things difficult. And luckily, those of us here know that this is not the kind of God we believe in. That we know that there is an infinite presence, and it cannot be lost because it is our very beingness. And I used to try to find, for many years of my life, I was seeking something out there. Seeking and seeking. And if we call ourselves seekers, maybe it's time to stop, because there's nothing to find. It's already here. Ernest Holmes says it this way: "So while we are immersed in an infinite intelligence, a mind that knows all things, it is all so true that this intelligence can acquaint us with ideas only when we are able and willing to receive them." How about that? Each state of consciousness taps the same source but has a different receptivity. Each receives what they ask for according to their ability to embody it. So it's always there. And it's up to us to be able to receive. And that is part of our journey, to be receivers of this gift of infinite life. So the universe is infinite. Possibilities are limitless. Mind is the builder. Thought is the director. And what I mean by that is inspiration comes to our mind, doesn't it? Or we think of something. We get this idea. And a lot of ideas we can just peg as divine inspiration. Maybe I want to start a business. I've got this great idea. I've got this great product. And then thought comes along and directs it. Inspiration, thought. And what thought are we going to have about that? Are we going to have the thought of, I know what to do? Well, I don't exactly know what to do, but I know there is a power and presence that does know what to do. And so I will begin because I can do this. Or are we afraid that I can't do it? It's a great idea, but I'm going to fail. I don't have enough money to start it. You see, thought is the director of the energy. So we get all these inspirations, all these ideas that come to us through spirit because this is what we're about. But we're receivers of the divine life and all the ideas that bring forth the purpose and greater purpose than we can imagine why we're here. And then our thought. What do we think? Out of this field of all possibilities, we make choices. So it's a little bit like cookie dough. Okay, so this medium out of which all things are created, an idea. This is the coolest thing, you guys. An idea gives form to something, doesn't it? First the idea. But without the idea, nothing happens. But the idea gives form to something. And I'm going to call that something cookie dough for right now. Because, you have this big ball of cookie dough, those of you who've made cookies. And because Christmas was just past, and, maybe you want to make Christmas cookies, which I tried to do to bring and share. And, you have all these. I can choose to do a bell. I can choose to do a tree. I can choose to do Santa. And the cookie dough doesn't care. See, that's kind of how, that is how this infinite substance out of which our ideas take form, that we put our ideas into that. And if we get out of the way, can take form. There is one thing, and you guys, if it doesn't work out right away, don't give up. My cookies, because I don't know any of you who tried to make cookies and keep the form and have them look like Santa and all that. It's hard to do, so I got this recipe. Oh my God, they turned out looking exactly like they were supposed to. And they were like concrete. They would break your teeth. That is the truth. So if your first try is not perfect, you guys, no, that is true about the cookies. They were so bad, I couldn't believe it. But they were pretty. So which do you want? I mean, they would make great ornaments. I never thought about that. Dough ornaments, just spray them and put them on the tree. But so I was watching this old house. Paul and I were watching this old house yesterday, which I love. I love, because we have done some renovation and things, and I think it is so cool. And there were all these new techniques. It's like, wow. But I thought, wouldn't it just be so fun to be a carpenter? But then, we get the idea to be a carpenter. We don't just step out and be a carpenter, do we? We have to learn the tricks of the trade, how to use the tools. And so when an idea comes to us, it's going to require patience and trust. Because in this field of possibility, we have never done it before. And so to have the patience, and that it may require a learning curve on our part. Let's hope that I had friends that wanted to be doctors, and they did become doctors. And I was very glad they went to medical school before they practiced. So, there's a way, but if Spirit knows, our inner self knows what to do and how to do it and when to do it. It really is all there. And this is the wonderful thing about our teaching and taking classes and being reminding and reading and doing all those things, that we're reminded of these truths. And I was talking to Ari on the phone about music, and I think when I retired the second time, I gave a lot of my music stuff away, but I thought, there must be something in the file, and I was looking through it, and I came across this story, and at the same time I had been thinking about this message today, and so I thought, well, maybe this is a form of synchronicity. It's not short, so bear with me, and it was hard for me to read. It was hard for me to, it was difficult, but it's true. And what if it said, at the age of 46, you were burned beyond recognition in a terrible motorcycle accident, and then 4 years later were paralyzed from the waist down in an airplane crash? Can you imagine yourself becoming then a millionaire, a respected public speaker, a happy newlywed, and a successful business person? Can you see yourself going whitewater rafting, skydiving, running for political office? Mitchell, and I don't have his last name, but this is a true story, has done all those things and more after 2 horrible accidents. Accidents that left his face a quilt of multicolored skin grafts, his hands fingerless, and his legs thin and motionless in a steel wheelchair. The 16 surgeries he endured after the motorcycle accident which had burned more than 65% of his body, left him unable to dial a telephone, and without help, or go to the bathroom without help. But Mitchell, a former Marine, never believed he was defeated. And he said, I am in charge of my own spaceship. It's my up and down. I could choose to see the situation as a setback. Yeah, I'd say that was kind of like a minor setback or a starting point. 6 months later, he was piloting that plane again. And he bought himself a Victorian home in Colorado. And later he teamed up with some friends and they started this wood-burning stove business, a company that grew to be the Vermont stove. Those of you who are into wood stoves know that Vermont casting and Vermont stoves are like the quintessential wood stoves and casting. A large private employer. Then 4 years after the motorcycle accident, he was piloting that plane and it just crashed. And that's when it crushed his vertebrae and then he was paralyzed from the waist down. And he said, undaunted, he worked day and night to regain as much independence as possible. And then he was elected mayor of Crested Butte, Colorado, to save the town from mineral mining that would have ruined its beauty and environment. He later ran for Congress and turned his odd appearance into an asset with slogans like, not just another pretty face. Yeah. I am going to skip a little bit here because it's long. His unshakable positive mental attitude has earned him appearances on the Today Show and Good Morning America, as well as features in Parade, Time, and New York Times and other publications. He said, before I was paralyzed, there were 1,000 things I could do. Now there are 9,000. I can either dwell on the 1,000 I lost or focus on the 9,000. I tell people that I have had 2 big bumps in my life. If I have chosen not to use them as an excuse to quit, then maybe some of the experiences you are having, which are pulling you back, can be put into a new perspective. You can step back, take a wider view, and have a chance to say, maybe that isn't such a big deal after all. Remember, it's not what happens to you, but what you do about it. And some of us are having physical challenges, and many more of us emotional challenges. And so we can actually use those as starting points to live again on a higher level. Not to say it's easy. I mean, that's an overwhelming story. And I read it because it's not an easy one, and yet. And it put my things in perspective. To focus on the 9,000 things or the one thing that you know you can do, that you know is good about you. To focus on the light where you want to be, a deeper experience of God. That is always there. So I'm just saying, when we get tired enough of doing it our own way, living the way we've always done it, living a life that is less than it can be, remember those who have been shining lights, the bodhisattvas for us, that modeled that there is more than we can do, that we are called to do, that inspiration that comes to us as a divine inspiration, as a divine guidance. Eric Butterworth, one of my favorites, said this: it is tuning the forces of your, turning your focus, turning the focus of your consciousness away from the problem to the center of being in God, and giving way to the creative force which will stream forth from your innermost being. That's really a mystical statement. We're all mystics at heart. To turn and focus that inner sense of our being, which is Spirit, God's force, source. And so just go with me, please. Just go within. And let us remind ourselves that there is a light that is beyond physical, a field of energy perhaps, a different kind of energy, an energy that brings existence into being. And as you sit in stillness, know that it is continually penetrating your being. It is your life force. So just take a moment and feel that and see that. See, it continually pours in through your crown chakra at the top of your head and moves throughout your body. So let's just take a moment now and visualize that light flowing in through the crown of our head, through our crown chakra, flowing down through our whole body. And perhaps you'll even be able to feel it. And know that this light dissolves the dark places of fear within your consciousness. And know that this force, this life, this light is always with you because it is who you are. There's nothing to get and nowhere to go. You are home. Namaste.
I'm going to play a song that I recently wrote, and it's called I Don't Want to Work Anymore. Yeah. Sounds relatable. Sounds like people have felt this way. And as I'm saying this word work, I'm thinking what I mean is I don't want to push against anymore. And I don't want to do the parts that aren't mine to do. And I don't want to try to pretend that they're mine to do. And I don't want to use all my energy doing those things. And instead, I'd like to put some of that energy towards the things that I do want to be doing. I can play my guitar and I can look up at the stars, but I don't want to work anymore. I can count the steps I walk and I can go into the dark, but I don't want to work anymore. When I die and I fly away into the sun, I don't want to question all the things I've done. I spent plenty of time living lives that were not mine, and I don't want to work anymore. I can drive you to the beach, or I could call you on the phone, but I don't want to work anymore. And I can take you by the hand and I can put some in the bank, but I don't want to work anymore. When I die and I fly away into the sun, I don't want to question all the things I've done. I spent plenty of time living lives that were not mine. Now I don't want to work anymore. Oh, when I die and I fly away into the sun, I don't want to question all the things I've done. 'Cause I spent plenty of time living lives that were not mine. Now I don't want to work anymore. No, I don't want to work anymore.
Oh, the joy of it all, not to have to work anymore. That's great.
Sounds pretty good,
I
right?
love that idea. But we all have worked sometime in our life, and during the time of our life, we might have gained a little substance.
Nice, nice.
And we'd like to share that this morning with one another, because we always have the privilege of knowing that it is the gift of the heart and the gift of the mind, the gift of the soul, that really is given here. And these love offerings are simply a symbol of that. So put in mind what you have in love for the chapel and add it to the wealth of our community. And let us say our thanks, our offertory giving. It's in here, there it is. Starts with the word divine love. Divine love moving in and through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, and so it is.
I am grateful, I am grateful for abundance in my life. I am grateful, I am grateful for abundance in my life. I am grateful, I am grateful for abundance in my life. I am grateful, I am grateful for abundance in my life.
We let the feeling of gratitude flood through our entire being this morning as we realize what a beautiful world we live in, what lovely experiences are possible and have been done. And we are strong enough and we are abundant enough to be able to share our goodness and our gratitude in this holy way by supporting this wonderful chapel and this wonderful message. So let us join together as we say, and so it is. If you'd like to stand now, we can say together our prayer of protection, which begins with the words, the light. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Let's join hands and sing our peace song. Let us celebrate the fact it's the first day of the truce in the Palestinian and Israeli war, and pray that it continues. What can possibility?